What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it's the FPL watch list ahead of Game Week 34. Now, there's only 5 weeks left of the season. Therefore, although a transfer isn't any more precious or valuable now than any other time of the season, it feels like it is because you've only got 5 weeks to get it right. Any transfer you mess up now is the potential to mess up a green arrow, mess up beating your mini-league rival, getting the rank that you want, or anything like that. So there's big key decisions to be made this week. I've got 3 players on the watch list for Game Week 34. One of them I'm sure you can guess, even though he's not on the thumbnail actually highlighted, but I'm sure you can guess who it is. And there's 2 others to talk about as well. So if you do enjoy the video, please give it a like, hit subscribe if you're new around here, and let's jump into it. So first up is Stuart Dallas, 5.2 million, right? Let's not remind ourselves too much about how I sold him for 4.9 million a few weeks ago, or even just a couple of weeks ago, and now I've got to buy him back for more expensive. But he's definitely firmly on the watch list for this week. Now, I don't want to get too much into transfer strategy, chip strategy, and stuff like that. Although if you've been watching the videos, you kind of know what I'm doing. But yes, I am thinking about bringing him in this week, even though it's Brighton away and then Spurs at home. But you know, if that double game week comes in 35, it's not going to matter for me anyway because I can just free hit. So there you go. There's a bit of chip strategy, which I'll go into more detail on later on this week. And then to end the season, it's Burnley, Southampton, West Brom. So really good fixtures. Now, Leeds' defence is interesting because last night it was mentioned to me on the stream about how many clean sheets they've got. You know, now they're not bad defensively, and obviously they have. I feel like I've been quite an advocate for Leeds this season. Maybe not Bamford at the start of the season, but I have mentioned before that their centre-backs have barely been fit for most of the season. But when I talk about poor defences or good defences or whatever it might be, I'm not really giving an opinion. Like, I'm not just plucking it out of the air and saying this is a good defence, this is a bad one. I'm looking at the numbers, and Leeds' numbers for the whole season, expected goals conceded per 90 minutes, right, non-penalty, they're the 3rd worst this whole season. Now, obviously, yes, you can say that now the centre-backs are back, they're going to be better. And I also think, to be honest, they are almost the perfect team. If we forget about the Man United match that's just happened, right, and they did concede to Liverpool the week before, they kind of have I'm not saying they will continue to, it doesn't really matter with the fixtures, but they have struggled against the bigger teams, but they are almost like a dead cert in teams where they can control the ball. So, for example, Burnley, maybe Southampton to a certain extent, West Brom, I would say they're going to retain possession quite well in those games, and that's how they're going to stop those teams attacking. Maybe even Brighton to a certain extent, but I think that will be tight because Brighton are also a pretty good team as well. So that's what I like about Leeds. They've kept quite a few clean sheets in these easier games, and they've struggled in the tough ones where you wouldn't necessarily want to play them anyway. So Dallas is definitely a consideration for me. Like, if I look at the other defenders, like Ayling 4.4 million, he's had 0 attack and returns. If you remember at the start of the season, a lot of, and I'm not putting it on them, but we did listen a lot to Leeds fans, and to be fair, they've been very knowledgeable, the ones I've spoken to about their team, but a lot of them said between him and Dallas, it'll be quite close for returns. Well, Ayling's got 0 attack and returns, and Dallas has got 10. Which is mad, right? So Dallas has maybe overperformed a little bit, and Ayling's probably underperformed a little bit, but that's a huge difference, which is the reason for the difference in price, right? Ayling's 4.4 and Dallas is 5.2, but I purposely left myself enough money last week by going Konza over Cody so that I could afford Dallas. Alioski's another one. Like, if I look at his recent games, he has started the last, I think that's 6 games and looks to be pretty much nailed again. Obviously, that happened earlier on the season. Then they changed personnel around a little bit and then he stopped starting. But he does seem to be back now. So for 4.3, if you're struggling for cash, he could be an option instead. But if you've got the money, it has to be Dallas. I think those fixtures just look prime for clean sheets. He often plays in midfield as well. Good for potential attack and returns. If you look at the stats, right, he's not necessarily right up there with the likes of Trent or someone like that who's creating massive amounts of chances. 2 chances created, 4 shots in the box over the last 6 is nothing huge, but also they have had some fairly tough fixtures. So Man United, Liverpool, Man City were the last 3 games. In fact, in the last 6, they've had to play Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and Man United. And they've only conceded 2 goals in those 4 games as well, although they have also conceded to Fulham and Sheffield United in that same run. So they aren't conceding a huge amount of goals, but they are conceding the odd one, which is obviously not good for clean sheets, but those fixtures looking decent. So Dallas is firmly on the watch list. Depending on what happens with fixture announcements, he may also be my transfer in this week rather than wait until game week 36. You don't score 20 points and then not get on the watch list for the rest of the season. Now, I actually mentioned Chris Wood in my preview video. I think it was last week, but I did say he was basically on the list to make up the numbers, and if you weren't like happy with any of the other players on there, then yeah, maybe you could go for Chris Wood, but he would be kind of like a last resort for me. And then he goes and smashes Wolves and gets a hat-trick plus an assist. What was it, 20 points? So absolutely ridiculous. If you look over the last 6 matches, 17 shots in the box is huge, right? It's nearly 3 a game, and his expected goals are 3.44. I had Chris Wood earlier on in the season, right? And this isn't some claim to, I told you this was going to happen, because I didn't. I literally said he was last on my list of 6 forwards last week, right? But the reason I had him in was kind of circumstantial. He had a game in the blank and then he had a double as well, even though they were tough fixtures. I'm still bitter that he didn't take that penalty against Liverpool. But the reason is he's always posts pretty good stats. Considering the team that he's playing for. So as an example, Burnley's non-penalty expected goals this season on average per game is only 0.95, so less than 1 a game. But Chris Woods is 0.40. So he's having nearly half the XG that Burnley create. It falls to him. So he's one of those teams that's like one of those players that's like the talisman in the team. If they're going to score points or get points FPL wise from an attacking perspective, he's going to be involved. His expected goal involvement, so XG plus XA, expected assists, is 0.47 this season. It was 0.48 last season. So this is what he does, right? He does get returns. He got 10 goals last year. I think it was 14 the year before. I'm just going to quickly look it up now. And he's getting close to that again. So this season he's on 13 attacking returns. Last season he got 15. Although a few more of them were from goals rather than assists. And then before that it was 13 attacking returns and 11. So he's fairly consistent in what he scores. He's a bit of a stats darling as well. He's always getting into the right positions, and he's on penalties. So we're looking at non-penalty data, but he is on penalties as well, at least when they're not playing Liverpool and Barnes gets tackled. So looking at the rest of the fixtures, I've put West Ham as an orange fixture because their defence has been pretty good this year, but without Rice, I would say not quite as good, and they have been conceding goals recently. I know Chelsea didn't score a huge amount against them, but I don't know, Chelsea are just this weird team where they control games, they're very good defensively, but for whatever reason, apart from when they smashed Crystal Palace the other day, they're not putting the ball in the back of the net that often. Obviously, it's great for them, Champions League semi-final, and they could grind to the win, right? So I'm not knocking the tactics, but from an FPL point of view, I'm not sure what to make of West Ham, because before that, they did concede quite a few without Dawson, without Rice, etc. But then Fulham, Leeds and Sheffield United, again, we can debate whether Leeds is still a green fixture, but I'm just looking at the stats. I'm not, not giving any other reason. So for now, I've kept it green. There is potential there, but you could say that's an orange fixture at this point. So for me, a lot of it's going to depend on how the fixtures fall. Like, I might even just eye him up as a game week 38 transfer against Sheffield United. But I'll have to see about that, because I don't know, if Sheffield United are at home that week, then maybe they want to give their fans one last send off from the Premier League. Who knows? But he's definitely on the watch list because I think he has got decent fixtures for his price. Bamford's obviously a consideration as well. And the thing with Leicester, so I've got Vardy and Iheanacho right now. The fixtures from 36 to 38 are pretty poor for them, and there's a chance that they even blank in game week 36 as well. So if that happens, I need to start offloading. And if that happens, Wood's got Leeds and Sheffield United to end the season. So I wouldn't be put off by that. His price is good at 6.3 million. Always post decent stats. Definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. So last on the list is Calvert-Lewin, which you obviously knew from the thumbnail that he was on there. Some fairly good fixtures coming, where even the fixtures in orange, again, I've just talked about West Ham. I'm not quite sure about them. Wolves I had down as a pretty good defence, and then they get absolutely smashed by Burnley of all teams. So again, I'm not quite sure what to make of them, but the fixtures look in general okay for Everton, with Man City away on the last day of the season. So that's probably the one which sticks out to me the most. And they do have a double game week as well to come. So they've got another game against Aston Villa. And as I've said for a little while now, even though I brought Konza in, I knew that Villa defence just isn't actually that good. At least by their numbers, right? I know they've got a lot of clean sheets as well. Martinez has done decently, good shot stopper. Grealish is obviously a big miss, but looking over the season, for how much they've conceded, if I put it on per 90 minutes, Villa are in the, what are they, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're like ninth or 10th in the league for defence. 1.25 expected goals conceded per game is not great. The only thing is, Everton attack is not that good either. Like looking at them, their attack is in the bottom half of the table. They're on 1.15 non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes. After you get down like further from there, they're all teams under 1. So Everton aren't far off those kind of poorer, weaker attacks, I would say. But they do have the quality to get those goals. So hopefully Ancelotti can make something happen towards the end of the season. Whether that actually transpires, I don't know. But when you look at the fixtures, like, again, if you're going to target some orange fixtures, West Ham and Wolves are the ones right now, and Villa and Sheffield United are also decent fixtures. And I feel like Calvert-Lewin's been a little bit forgotten about. Obviously, 7.5 million, which is fairly pricey compared to like Bamford and Wood, etc. But it's not completely out of the question to pay something like that for a striker. 10 shots in the box, 2.38 XG over the last 6 matches isn't bad. The other player to consider would be Richarlison. But the thing I like about Calvert-Lewin, and I'm just looking it up here, is his non-penalty XG for the season is 0.51, which is decent, right? It's really good for a striker. Last season it was 0.49. So he's slightly improved this year over a long period of time. So he can get the chances. Whereas Richarlison, if I look at him, again, I'm just basing it off the numbers rather than any eye test or anything like that. His non-penalty XG is 0.35. So over the course of this season, Calvert-Lewin's been more likely to get you a goal. Now, I know that's kind of changed a little bit when they've played up front together rather than Richarlison off the left. So maybe that's going to affect things going forward. But I would not be put off by having to bring Calvert-Lewin in. Like if Vardy got an injury, for example, he doesn't, by the way. He's still got to play tonight. Like this video is going to come out before the Leicester Palace game. But let's say he picked up an injury. I wouldn't be against bringing in Calvert-Lewin for 34. And then for me, I would be able to free hit him out for 35 if that's a double. And I'm going to have to say that all week, I know. And then you get Sheffield United in 36, which is pretty decent. So I quite like the look of him. I keep an eye on him. I think a lot of people are maybe thinking about bringing him in or already have him or thinking about taking him out. I don't think I would do that against Aston Villa. I just, even if Grealish was back at the moment, I'm just not sure how much I trust that defence. And I'm saying that as someone that owns Martinez and Konza, although Konza is currently on my bench for this week. So yeah, Calvert-Lewin is someone I'm looking at. Would I get him ahead of Chris Wood? I think that depends on the timing of when I get him in. Like if it had to be this week for a new striker, for example, I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin over Wood. But if it was a bit later in the season, it'd probably be Chris Wood. So that's why they're both on the watch list. Need to keep an eye on them. So it's those two and Dallas this week. So there we go. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Please do give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. If the fixtures get announced and the double game weeks and all that, I'll definitely do a video on it. But for now, it's all kind of speculation. So if we don't get any announcements, I'll talk through it again on the game week preview, which will be on Wednesday, but I won't do an additional video until it's actually official. We can start making plans around it and stuff like that. It's frustrating knowing that it's going to come probably, but that we don't know what it's definitely going to be like. But that is FPL, right? We've got a hectic last 5 game weeks of the season. So yes, that is it. Please give it a like, hit subscribe. If you haven't already signed up to Patreon, there is a link in the description below if you want to support the channel even further. I've also done a post about my summer plans, so there won't be any charge on Patreon through June, for example, because there's no FPL content or anything like that. So don't worry about getting charged through the summer. If you do want to sign up, there's loads of perks and benefits over there. Big shout out to everybody that has already signed up. Much appreciated as always. Huge support this year, and hopefully I can make it bigger and better next year as well. So, and a big shout out to Richard S and Doug S, who have both signed up since the last video. I'll leave it there. I'll be back tomorrow with transfer tips and then game week preview, team selection, captaincy, deadline stream. There's so much to come. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.